Today we're going to just change the shocks on a 2008 Civic. It's going to be very similar to the other instructional video I have of the 2013 Civic SI, where we added the Skunk 2 lowering springs. Changing the shocks in an 08 Civic, slightly different but very, very similar. You have the two large nut and bolts right here you have to remove. Only one bolt for the brake line. You have this one, it's for the ABS line. It's only one clip you have to slide out, though that way you can get the shock separated from it. The sway bar end link is down here on this model Civic, so you don't have to mess with that. Whereas the newer one, it had it up here, I don't know if you remember correctly. Same goes for the top. This little clip, you just pull it right off, a little plastic covering I mean. Pull off the top rubber insulator, and then you have the three 14mm nuts right there as well. This is a very, very simple job. It's just a little time consuming, but definitely an easy job as well. This is the front driver's side shock. We're just going with some KYB replacement shocks. Exact same design. You're gonna need a spring compressor though. That way you can get top hat off without possibly hurting yourself. It could be potentially dangerous taking this off without the spring being compressed. And you also need it to get the spring back onto here and then the top hat back onto the new shock as well. When using the spring compressors, what I like to do, I'll go ahead and tighten them up just a little bit. And when you're doing that, you can actually see it start to compress. Do one side, and then work on your other side. And what that does, and just tightens it up, holds the spring at a certain compressed length. Use your 17. Where did I put mine? And doing that, it keeps enough compression on the top hat. That way you can get the nut off pretty easily. Just like that. Nut came off, top hat. Spin it off the spring, slide it out. There you go. Manually. We're replacing this strut. You'll see a little notch in here as well. That's where the spring needs to sit. That lets you know that you have the correct spot for it. Let's just put this one back together real quick. Also, when getting this back on, you're probably going to need to compress your spring a little bit more as well. Once you have your nut back on, get it lined up where the spring falls into place. And now we can start to remove the spring compressor. There you go. Of course, you're going to want to make sure, where's the arrow? It's right here. It's almost in the right spot. You can slide it over here. And I'll test fit it right now just to make sure it lines up. Even with the nut fully bolted down, you can still spin the top hat. I did it on the driver's side right now and it's pretty easy. But how I'm going to get the nut on also, it seems to work without using an Allen wrench or a box end wrench. There it goes. It's all the way down. It actually stopped me, let me know I couldn't go any further. And then you could turn that a little bit more. Changing the rear struts is relatively easy. We're just going to remove a bolt down here. It's this 14mm bolt, and then on top there's a nut, a 14mm nut as well, since the top hat's actually integrated into the body on these cars. What you need to do first, get a Phillips, go ahead and remove all these little plastic screws. 1, 2, looks like there's 3 of them back here. 1, 2, and 3. I'll see if there's any others, but I don't think that there is. After you have all 3 removed, you can actually pull the paneling away from the car. And there's the nut that we're going to go ahead and remove. And then the shock will drop straight out.